feedback?
It's all right, we just discussed between ourselves.
Oh, sorry, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, and loud enough so that
Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
fine.
no,
Sure.
yeah,
It's fine, yeah.
So, Guru, how do you think we went?
Look, I think, you know, there's quite a few issues that we had to face, and I think she did quite well trying to tell us all about those issues, and you made it known to her that, you know, this is an initial consultation, and what she can expect is just for us to try and get a good understanding of the issues.
Certainly.
You know, it would have been nice to have looked at the document earlier.
So that's certainly something we should have done to
Yeah.
ask for the document at the outset.
That's right, and discuss those particular terms with her.
Yes, I mean, because we did sort of touch on various terms that are in the document, but obviously having had the benefit of the actual terms, we would have been able to deal with the issues more effectively.
That's right, yeah, yes. But, you know, we'll see how, we need to obviously try and keep in contact with her if she chooses to retain us.
That's right.
And also look at her, you know, she noted about her contacting this other employer, and also her relations with Harry.
That's
and
right.
how that might be affected by this particular agreement. So
That's
we
right.
need to see if, you know, the significance of those.
Yeah, definitely. So certainly, as you said, one thing that we have to follow up on is, you know, where this new prospective employer rather is located. Because according to the document, you're looking at 75K, and as you said, we do need to get in touch with her with regards to her contact with Harry post leaving the job, because that too, under this document, she is restrained from soliciting employees. Big Ben.
That's right.
There's certainly things that we need to follow up with. What do you think, beyond the fact that restraint of trade, based on this document, what do you think the biggest legal issue facing us is?
Well, I think, you know, you certainly mentioned about restraint of trade, so that's certainly something that we're going to have a look at.
Mm-hmm.
But we also, you know, she was talking about the conduct of Ben.
Yes.
And the conduct, that particular confrontation where he asked her to sign the document.
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking at something, you know, that might be looking at illegitimate pressure.
Yes.
Something involving that.
Certainly.
And that would affect, you know, the agreement itself.
Yeah, so it's, as to whether Mayor initiated consent
That's right.
to this agreement.
That's
as you
right.
said.
What do you think we'd be looking at as well?
Yes, certainly, as you said, I was also thinking maybe a claim for harassment, because some of the
Threats.
conduct, certainly the threats which were made, you know, with regards to burning her house down and, you know, standing in the doorway, physically blocking her.
That's right.
So perhaps there may be issues with regards to workplace harassment.
That's right.
And perhaps we didn't mention it to her at the time, but that's certainly something that we need to follow up on.
Yes, that's right. What do you think is the issues that are working in our favour here?
Well, looking at the document, as yet, Sarah hasn't breached all the terms. She hasn't breached all the terms, but obviously we did talk about the potential for the terms of this document to impede her future employment prospects, because, you know, she's certainly restrained from disclosing any know-how, so, you know, the extent to which that may affect her in terms of the financial position and her earning power, really.
That's right, yeah. Certainly the conduct, I think, on the part of Ben
Yes.
is something that is the big issue, as well as the document. It's obviously linked with the document and the validity of the document. So that's something that we need to also follow up with. I think.
Certainly. In terms of the interview itself, how do you think it went? I mean, as you said, it certainly would have been helpful had we got the document at the outset, but I think Sarah felt that she was able to be frank with us. And,
That's right.
I think we certainly got most of the information that we needed
I think, you know, the important thing with initial consultation is being able to make the client feel comfortable.
That's right.
And I think you did a good job welcoming her in, and we talked through the process, and
Yes,
so she could understand what she would, you know, what her expectations would be,
that's right.
and all of that. So I think we did a good job in that regard. You know, certainly, you know, we'd love to have seen through these and go through these in
Mm.
particular, because
Yes,
being able to judge the significance of her actions since leaving Ben's
That's
and
right.
now looking at this new place of employment
mhm,
can be a problem. So we need to be able to contact her and talk about those things as well and follow up those things with her.
that's right.
What other things do we have to follow up with?
Perhaps we, as you said, we do need to get in touch with her with regards to her dealings with Harry. Of course, consult will also need to look at, she did request pro bono assistance, and
That's right.
that's certainly something we have to look at. But I think in terms of how the interview today went, I think we weren't too focused on the legal outcomes. You know, we did ascertain from her that obviously her situation is in flux. You know, she's 19 years old, she's looking for a job. And I
That's
think
right.
in that regard, what you said to her about going down the negotiation and mediation track rather than litigation was certainly appropriate
That's right.
in that regard, because you know she's looking at resolving it quickly, and obviously costs too are a huge issue.
That's right, yeah.
So certainly perhaps the best way to deal with this agreement and you know its implications in terms of restraint and in terms of what she's restrained to do, perhaps negotiation with Ben would be an appropriate approach, but of course, as you pointed out to her, failing that, litigation is of course an option.
Yeah, that's right, yes, yeah. So we need to try and ascertain her bank statements and pay slips in
That's right.
terms of pro bono.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a copy of this document here. Do you think we should get in touch with her in regards to taking up this particular offer from the second employer?
Yes, I certainly think we should, because you know it's one of the key terms in the document, and you know if it's not within 75 Ks, or rather if it is within 75 Ks on weekends, then you know certainly if she does take up the offer on Monday, she would be in breach of the document
That's right.
already. So that's perhaps something we should convey to her
That's right.
urgently.
Yeah. So we need to outline that. And we also need to compile these notes and put it into a letter.
That's right.
And you said that you'd include a fee estimate,
Yes.
so we'll need to do that as well.
So would you be happy to put that letter together?
Yes, sure.
Be great, and yeah, you know, if you could just run it by me, kneel down with it and we can have a chat, and you know, we can promise to, I told her that we'll get it out to her by close of business today.
Sounds good.
Great.
I feel like there's much more judging to do there.
You summed it up pretty well. I'm trying to take all the words I was going to say. I think you guys started off like an absolute train. I thought you guys were going to get to the answer in 5-10 minutes, and we can all go home early. You asked all the right questions, but then it took you 26 minutes to get to asking for the legal document, which was yeah, you could have perhaps got there sooner. But a very polished performance, and you obviously very well prepared, and you know, it was a very good effort.
Yeah, I can only echo that really. You came in and you set out really good structure. You ran through some of the really important things to get out of the way first, dealt with them up front, and then you let the client talk for quite a while to kind of get a lot of much information out of her as possible. But then I thought you stopped filtering what she was saying to get down to what the key issues were. And that's examples of that are Heather's already said waiting until 26 minutes to get the document, and then the follow-up question after that was, what do you want to get out of this? And so that's 27 minutes. That leaves you 3 minutes left to talk about what she wants, when maybe that could have been dealt with up front, and then you wouldn't necessarily have to go through some of the maybe peripheral issues.
Yeah, I mean, before you broke at the end of the meeting, what did you think the key legal issues were?
We were focusing on the document itself and the fact that it was restraint of trade, confidentiality. But then, of course, the conduct on the part of Ben seemed to be another issue that worked in our favour.
And she mentioned a new job. Where do you think the new job is located?
Well, that's certainly something we need to follow up
That's right.
later on. More likely than not, it's within 75 k's of Big Benjamin, possibly maybe beyond that, but that was, had we had the benefit of the document, that would have been something we followed up on as to where the job was.
Because I think the irony is that one of the facts that she would have answered was that there's also the same job's going in Melbourne.
Okay.
You would have been done in 10 minutes. We found that out. But yeah, no.
Yeah, I think you were very polished. I think you knew how to conduct an interview as a lawyer. My sense was, though, that the polish sometimes stopped you listening.
Yeah.
And that, as the filtering point's probably the point I had, that you've got to actually listen as much as the polish. But I think, in terms of professional approach and you're managing her lack of wealth and all that type of thing, I think you did a very good job.
So, for example, the idea of coming up with mediation shows
Yeah.
you listen to the fact that she's not got much money.
Yeah.
You're thinking about speed of getting things done and not going through the court process. So that, that's impressive.
I think it was good, but the problem was you probably didn't know at the end what you were going to mediate about. But mediation was there.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.